Last week, 12-year-old Jaiden Rodriguez was pulled from his Colorado classroom for sporting a Gadsden flag patch on his backpack, commonly known as the Don't Tread on Me flag. We've got an update for you. The Vanguard School Board of Directors has reversed its decision, ultimately siding with Jaiden.
In a statement released by the board Wednesday, the district wrote, "The Vanguard School recognizes the historical significance of the Gadsden flag and its place in history. This incident is an occasion for us to reaffirm our deep commitment to a classical education in support of these American principles. Many are cheering the decision, maintaining it's a win for First Amendment rights." I mean, he's 12 years old, and the Gadsden flag is the Don't Tread on Me flag with the snake, often known on the internet as No Step Snake. But it's like, we hate the British. The British are bad. They were mean to us. I don't think the 12-year-old thought it was that deep. I don't think the 12-year-old even knows the historical significance, if I'm being honest with you. I think maybe he got it from his parents. And this is one of those things where unless you have a pre-known policy of no political symbolism in school, you can't really get mad at a 12-year-old for putting the No Step Snake symbol on his backpack.
Right. I mean, especially considering this is not even really a political flag per se. I mean, it is if you consider the revolution to be political, I guess, but not, in modern partisan political terms. This was a flag that was created in 1775. It was flown on U.S. naval ships during the Revolutionary War. And what some people take issue with is that certain images from the flag were later co-opted by the Confederacy, but the Gadsden flag itself still remained very much a revolutionary symbol. So when Jaiden was pulled out of his classroom, the teacher who took issue with the flag cited its quote-unquote origins in slavery as the reason he couldn't have it on his backpack, which is just a totally false interpretation of what it means. We have multiple states such as Virginia, Florida, and Arizona who all use versions of the Gadsden flag on their license plates. So the idea that a middle school age kid couldn't wear it on his backpack into a public school, I think, is pretty absurd.
Yeah, I think it's pretty absurd as well. I understand that there's some modern use of the flag where it's like, we don't want an oppressive government. We don't want too much taxes and those taxes being used for things that don't benefit us. Okay, do I think the 12-year-old was making that statement? Maybe not. And I think the board or the officials at the school initially, not understanding the flag's meaning and history or the modern use, suggests that maybe we need to reinvest in our schools and put some time and effort into hiring better teachers, putting more money into developing a better curriculum. I don't know. This seems to me that if the teachers responsible for educating our students don't know what the flag means, then they will not even do a simple Google search before they send a 12-year-old to take off the backpack. That's traumatizing for a 12-year-old. Young kids, look at him in that photo, or in the video. He is so small. This is insane that our teachers were responsible from this and school officials were responsible from this. I would just expect better from the people responsible for educating our children. And I think this goes to show that education is in crisis in the United States. He is so small. He doesn't know what he's doing. He is a little baby. Look at him. He is so cute.
He is really cute. I do think it is a reminder that we definitely need better civic education and history education in our country. It is a shame that this teacher completely got this wrong. I do want to give a little bit more credit to Jaiden because he actually stood up for himself pretty well. He not only refused to take the patch off, but argued with the teacher on her misunderstanding of where this flag came from. This is basically akin to taking issue with someone sporting an American flag on their person. So definitely far out of bounds in terms of what type of speech a school would be able to censor. And kudos to his parents as well for teaching him to stand up for his beliefs, for standing up for him when the teachers came after him. I know some parents kind of just side with the authority figures over their kids, and that can lead to a lot of resentment later in life. So I was just glad to see all across the board that Jaiden and his parents stood up for him, and that the school eventually reversed the decision of the teacher. They had a meeting. They said there's no problem with the flag. We're going to let him wear it. That was the right outcome. I'm glad that this didn't escalate any further and potentially go to a lawsuit, because I'm quite certain that that would have been the next step in this situation.
He's got a lot on his backpack there. I'm not sure what the other stuff is, but I saw the word revolution, which leads me to believe that maybe a lot of this stuff doesn't come from a 12-year-old kid. I don't know a lot of 12-year-old kids. I can think back to being around that age. I was not thinking about political revolution, in which case, if this came about because the school was concerned about the kid being very invested in politics, could come from the home, could come from his friends, could very well come from the internet. I mean, that's when you invest in the kid and you give the kid some more attention with guidance counselors or teachers, and you're like, hey, maybe we think about dinosaurs and trains and stuff, and not the revolution and the British Empire. You know, this is a time to invest in the kid, not punish him for what's on his backpack. I'm sure he doesn't know better. I'm sure it could be some kind of a phase if that's what's going on here. But I also think schools have a bad habit of not wanting to deal with kids or invest in kids and give them the time and nurturing necessary to grow them up to be good human beings. And instead, it's this little form of punishment. Oh, you have a snake on your backpack and now you're in trouble for that. It's kind of a cop-out when you could really be investing in the kids.
Sure. And even if it were the case that this kid is, I don't know, wise beyond his years, or maybe he's just really interested in history and he loves the story of the American Revolution, or maybe he has started to dabble in politics a little bit. I think that was probably around the age where I started to first get interested in politics. So I definitely understand perhaps where he's coming from. For him to be punished for that because maybe the teachers think that he's interested in politics in the wrong way is such a shame. They should really be nurturing that interest, I think, and encouraging him along his path of self-education.
Yeah, I don't know. It says J. Rod VP Revolution. I don't know what any of that means. You know, boys will be boys. You could be right. It could just be he's into the Revolutionary War stuff right now. That's his thing. It could be he's getting into politics and he doesn't fully understand it. But I think it's traumatizing to punish a kid for reasons that I'm sure the kid doesn't even understand. And then to be wrong as the school when it comes to the historical meaning of the flag, saying that it has roots in slavery is a bit odd for me. Like, that's, I think, what we really need to focus on here is that the school messed up. The school didn't have a policy that said you couldn't wear this stuff. And if it did, this wouldn't have been a controversy, right? And so I think that's really at the heart of this, is that there's something weird going on in our schools. And instead of dealing with it in a way where we're prioritizing the students and instead kind of lashing out and having this weird contention between parents and teachers, you don't do the job of being a teacher in America if you don't care about the youth and you don't care about their future and educating them. And you're not a parent responsible for kids and dealing with the teachers unless you really care for your kids. So it seems that there needs to be some kind of way to put the kids first instead of fighting with each other. And I really think that's missing because we've seen the degradation of community in America. This could have been a phone call from the teacher to the parent and a quick conversation about what's going on with Mr. J. Rod, VP of the Revolution. It could have been resolved if there was a better relationship there, I think.
Yeah, I think that's true. Let's keep this stuff between teachers and parents and stop turning everything into a massive cause for discipline. We'll be back with more Rising after this.